Ladies and gentlemen, please give me a massive round of applause for the lady who we currently see on The Flash as Jessie Quick. Give it up for the brilliant Violett Beane!
Hi! Hello, everybody. How are we? Good? Good. Me too.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, our question mic's there, so if you would like to kind of go and stand behind them if you have a question for Violett, then we will be asking those. But let's start with a quick one. So, Violett, thank you for travelling to see us this weekend. Now, how did you get involved with The Flash, and how aware were you when you got the role that this season could be slightly more, how can I put it, super for you?
How did I get involved? Well, I actually live in Texas, which for anyone who's never been to the States, usually the way it works for casting is if you're not in LA and you're not in New York, you probably won't get cast in much. So it was super random and pretty great that I got cast outside of Texas. I sent in a taped audition, and the producers and casting directors looked at it and they liked it, and I ended up booking it pretty quickly. It's very rare for that to happen, so it was pretty great. And then as far as the second season, I mean, I didn't know too much leading up to my character at all. In fact, when I auditioned, I didn't even know who I was auditioning for. I found out when I booked it, they were like, by the way, you'll be playing Jesse Wells, soon to be Jessie Quick. Yeah.
So you're like, and were you aware of who the character was before? Had you done any research on the comic book side?
I couldn't before I'd booked it because I didn't know who it was. But once I booked it, I went and got like many, many comic books and have since received a ton. But now I know enough about her, and I didn't realize and I didn't find out that she was going to finally become Jessie Quick until about a week before we shot it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about nothing like surprising you then, is it?
Yeah.
And what was it? I'm going to just... How many people have seen anything online or any tweets or anything? Okay. So if you haven't got up to date, Chloe, I apologise, but the costume, what was it like getting to see that and then getting to wear it for the first time? So
amazing. I mean, I've been waiting like the fans for, since day one. I thought it was going to happen midway through second season, and when it didn't, I was sort of bummed, and I was hoping, why hasn't it happened yet? And then when the particle accelerator spoiler thing happened, I was like, okay, now it's going to happen. And then it didn't. And I was like, come on, it's got to happen. And then so finally season 3, I was like, yes, it's started.
And do you kind of have any impact, any kind of involvement in the design of the costume, or did you ask them for anything in particular on it? Now that you've become a fan of the character, did you go, well, look, but there is that part that we could put in, or was it completely, no, we know what we're going to do with this?
Yeah, the concept of it is definitely, it's one of the previous female speedsters' trajectory. She was a villain, and when she died, her suit is left behind, and Cisco sort of grants me her suit and puts on a Flash symbol to make it more personal. And so I do like that aspect of it, that it makes it part of Team Flash. But I do also love, Jessie Quick's original storyline of Liberty Bell and her father, Johnny Quick. So I do kind of want some of that to maybe play into it if the suit continues to grow. I would love to pay homage to that.
So I can see a few people eagerly waiting. So we're going to start off with this question over here on the...
We know that there are loads of characters in the Flash universe. Do you know if there are any plans for any more superheroes to be added into the universe?
I mean, every single episode there is a villain. So they always have new villains coming in, and I don't know what episode all of you are on, but the most current episode has Mirror Master and the Top in it, which Mirror Master is an amazing Flashpoint villain. So, I definitely think they're going in that sort of direction. They're creating the new rogues. They're creating a whole army, essentially, of villains. So there definitely is going to be a lot more villains. I don't know how many more superheroes they'll introduce, but I'm excited for it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Are you allowed to tell us if we're ever going to see kind of the whole Flash family fighting together?
I would love that. I mean, there's so many comic book covers and spreads of everyone running together, and they're slowly introducing each new speedster, so I could see that at some point definitely happening. You should mention something to them.
Right, thank you.
And we're going to go to the other side here because we've got a lone green lantern standing there.
Yeah.
Hey, two quick questions. First one is, was there ever any plans to use the Speed Force equation for Jessie getting her powers like the comics have? And the second one is, what was it like to work with Kevin Smith?
So there were no plans to use it. As far as I know, I thought it would be kind of cool, but at the same time, I get yelling a formula could read kind of weird on screen. It makes sense for a comic book, but it is a little strange for a television. But I think it would have been cool. It would have been cool to have that aspect of it, especially because Jessie is... Yeah, absolutely, because she is really intelligent, so it makes sense that she would find a formula to have speed. But no, they didn't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But Kevin Smith is probably the best person ever. He is just, on set, he's amazing. You know, he's so encouraging, and he's one of those people who doesn't take credit for anything. You know, even though he's a director, and that's a huge responsibility, and you have to do a lot for it, he's always like, oh, like, you know, our scriptee, he's like, oh, she's directing. Like, she's amazing. You know what I mean? And he's like, the whole time I worked on his episode, I was actually in a coma. So I didn't really work with him that much, but every time I had a scene with him, he'd come in and just be like, Violett Beane, everyone. Like, even though I'm just laying in bed. Like, so he's absolutely amazing. And I've gotten to know his daughter really well, Harley Quinn, and she's amazing. Like, they're a really great family.
Thank you.
So we go back to this side.
What was it like going from being filmed as a regular character with no powers to Jessie Quick with super speed?
So cool. I mean, like I said, I've been waiting for it for so long, so finally being able to do it was amazing. Definitely didn't anticipate how exhausting it would be. All you're doing is running in place, so that tells you how out of shape I am. Sweaty and panting and tired from running in place. But no, it is amazing, and I'm so lucky and happy to be able to finally do it.
How do you do a serious run though? I mean, do you end up having to do loads of warm-ups where you're just being completely ridiculous to actually get to a serious run?
You know, it's a little weird. It is. You're running in place. I thought it would be a treadmill, which I think makes more sense. You're actually moving, but they scratched that in the middle of first season to just running in place. So yeah, you do definitely have to get a little amped up. My first run was with Grant, so that was helpful. And I did realize, I mean, he's completely fit and in shape, and he was still sweaty, so I don't know.
So maybe you're not as unfit
Maybe.
as you think.
I don't know.
And we got a flash next.
Hi.
Which was the funnest episode to film?
The funnest episode. I mean, any scene with all of us in it is really fun because we're all just goofing around backstage. I can't remember what episode it was, but we got introduced to the game Exploding Kittens. Do any of you know this game? Yeah. It's great, right? Super fun game. You should check it out. It's a card game. Carlos brought it on set. I think it was the third episode of second season. And that, I mean, I don't know, that doesn't have anything to do with the show, but it was a really fun game.
We're back to Batman.
Do you see Jessie coming back to Earth 1 before Wally, or would she just come back to help out Barry?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you think that Jessie would come back to Earth 1 just to help out Barry, or do you think she'd come back for Wally? Because obviously the last episode, I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, there's a little hashtag Quick West happening. You know, I think I could definitely see her coming back to hang out with Wally. I mean, I think they're sort of an item at some point. And I could definitely see her coming back just to see him. Absolutely.
The floor is yours, Mr. Jedi. Far away.
Hi, are there any storylines
There's a specific cover, I'm not sure which issue, but it's Supergirl and Jesse running together. And I would love to do that. You know, now that Supergirl is up in Vancouver shooting with all of us, and Melissa is so sweet, it would be awesome to work with them. And I haven't done any crossovers, so I think it would be really fun to go over there or have her come over to The Flash. Absolutely, that'd be great.
How well do you think Jessie will cross over with Arrow? Like, will she become part of Team Arrow and do crossover episodes, or?
I would love to do that. Like I said, I haven't done any crossovers, but you know, I'm really good friends with Echo Kellum. He's freaking hilarious. If you don't follow his Twitter or his Snapchat, you really should. And Emily's amazing. All those people are so great. So I would love to go over to Arrow. And the set in physical distance in Vancouver is like 10 feet from the Flashes. So it would be really easy, and I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, but I would love to go over to Arrow, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
As it's so close, have you ever been kind of tempted to take something from the Flash set that's kind of obvious, maybe part of your costume, and just walk over, just leave it on maybe Emily's computer desk, and then walk back across, then go, oh, I don't know what that is, and see if anyone notices?
Right, I should do that. Take a Star Labs mug and just put it in there.
Yeah.
Although our crews are pretty good, they'd probably spot it, and yeah, I
Might
know.
have been in a nice kind of way.
Those Easter eggs are always great. I love seeing them, especially because I know the filmmaking of the episodes. I always spot certain little things. It's great.
And we have a question from a young man over there.
Who's your favourite villain from The Flash?
From the Flash, from the TV show?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that is a hard one. I really liked, if you guys, I don't know if you're on it, but Magenta. Joey King was really, really sweet, and she did a really good job with that. But last season, Zoom was pretty, like, insane. I mean, he was one of the craziest television villains that I've ever seen, and very scary. His mask in real life has these, like, strings around his mouth, and so he moves, and it's just very scary. And I did too many scenes up close to that mask. Nightmares. Yeah, him.
And now over to what I think is Wonder Woman.
We've got like the likes of Arsenal and Arrow, and there's been talks of like a Titans show for years and years and years. Arsenal, Jesse Quick, Titans team, could it happen?
It could totally happen, absolutely. I mean, you know, you've got Legends of Tomorrow, which has so many different people from other shows that they have moved over to become this other show, which is really a really cool show because they time travel. I think it'd be really fun to work on because you get to have different looks every single episode. So I mean, they're moving people all the time. I could see any one of the characters from The Flash. I could see Jesse, any of them going to any of the shows or creating new shows. I mean, the whole DC world and the CW DC world is insane.
Cheers.
Over to Mr. Star Labs.
Hi. When the Flash spun off of Arrow, did you believe it would become as big as it would, or be just as popular as it's become? And obviously, as it's gone on, it's only become better. I just wanted to have sort of your opinion on it.
Yeah, you know, I think it's always sort of, you know, you never really know if a show is going to take off. And I think, you know, finding Grant was amazing for them because he's such a good Flash. And I don't think that the show would be the same without him or with any of the characters really. But, you know, having that main person that you can really depend on and help the show so much is amazing. And I'm so happy it's taken off because then I was able to join the show, you know, and I do think it's getting better every season. I think some shows get weird sometimes. They get weird as the seasons go on, but I think The Flash is only getting better, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I just have one more question. When it came to obviously the DC Extended Universe, so it's like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, how was it on set when obviously the whole casting of the Flash was Ezra Miller? Obviously, personally, I wanted it to be Grant. I was just wondering, obviously how it was around the set, with obviously when that sort of happened, like how it was and how it affected sort of.
Yeah, I think obviously they're two different sets of people. The Superman and Supergirl, isn't the same Superman from the movies. And I think that sort of makes sense. They're different vibes. Batman versus Superman is a lot more dark. Suicide Squad's really dark. And the show, while it is, does have villains and things like that, it always sort of leaves you feeling a little lighter. And obviously it would have been awesome to see Grant play the Flash in the movies as well, but I think, Ezra's a great actor, and I feel like everyone sort of, is happy for him, absolutely, and wants to see what he does with it.
Thank you very much.
And Flashpoint this season, Flash has got one of the distinctions in a TV show where it really doesn't have any fear about shaking things up again at the end of one season, the beginning of another. What's that like to work on as an actress? Because you never know what's going to change, because they've already changed as a point of Flashpoint, finite little details here and there. Were you aware early on that? And how much dread does that give you at the end of the season when you see it and go, oh, okay, this could be interesting?
Right. Like I said before, I didn't even know who I was playing until I'd already booked it, and I didn't know I was going to have speed till a week before. It's pretty run and gun. The writers are only a couple episodes after what we're shooting, and we're only shooting a couple episodes after what's airing. So we're sort of figuring it out as you guys are, which I kind of like about it. We don't know all these spoilers we can't tell you for very long or at all. So it is, you get to learn your character and as it's going. But that also can be difficult because you don't know your overall arc. I didn't know when I was going to have speed, or maybe I could have anticipated or led up to it somehow if I had known. But it also kind of adds an element of surprise. And, in life, you don't know where your life is going. So it kind of makes it a little bit more real.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But can you recall a particular moment where you've looked at the script and gone, oh my God?
Definitely when I got my speed. That was the first call I got about season 3 at all. I didn't even know if I would be coming back for season 3 because, at the end of season 2 we leave. But definitely getting that call and being like, okay, wow, it's finally happening was probably the biggest moment of the whole show for sure for me.
So we're going to go to our very dapper dressed young man down there.
Do you think Wally will get his speed back?
I hope so. In episode 3, he just looks so sad without it. He's just jealous of Jesse and Barry and everyone, and he just wants speed. He thinks he's meant for it. But, I think at some point he definitely will. He's got to. They wouldn't never give him speed again, but I don't know when. Hopefully season 3, but I said that about myself last year.
And do you think they'll keep him in the yellow and red suit or change it to the silver and silver?
It's pretty classic. It's pretty close to the original comics, so I think they'd probably keep it. I think he looks really good in it, and I think, everyone geeked out about it when it came out, but they could also change it. They change Barry's suit a little bit every year, so it's possible.
One last thing, as we're going to have to wrap up in a second, but congratulations, by the way, on your work on The Tower, which is currently doing the rounds over in the US. What's it like to be involved with a film like that, which is kind of a different take on a really, really turbulent time in the US history, but also one that's getting Oscar buzz already and already been called by the Hollywood Reporter as a best, I think it's a best documentary candidate. Yeah. What was that like in your work on that?
So for all of you who don't know what it is about, the first mass shooting in America happened in 1966 in Austin, Texas, which is where I'm from. And, since then there's been an absurd amount of mass shootings in the United States, bombings in the world, just an extreme amount of violence. And August of this year was the 50th anniversary of the shooting. And it's a documentary, but it's a reenactment documentary, and I play the first person that was ever shot. She was 8 months pregnant. She survived, but both her baby and her boyfriend got shot and killed. And it's just such a powerful movie. The first 70 minutes or so is almost a minute-by-minute reenactment of the shooting. So it's just told in a very different way, in a very... It's weirdly violent, but it's animated. It's rotoscoped, so if you don't know what that is, it's like a Scanner Darkly, the movie. It's sort of animation meets drawing meets like sketchbook, and it's just an extremely powerful movie. And I'm personally a very peaceful person, and seeing all the violence in the world and in the United States is very hard for me. So being a part of a movie like this is one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. And meeting the woman I play, she carries no hatred for the man who did it, and she's just overwhelmingly optimistic about it all. And it's making the rounds right now in the United States in theaters, but I do believe it will be on streaming sites such as Netflix and things like that in the beginning of next year. And I just encourage you all to watch it. I know there isn't as much violence here, which I congratulate you all on, and thank you. But it is, just a sad truth about the world.
And we'll go for one last question. We'll go to our little friend there in the Star Labs.
One last crossover question. Do you think Jessie could cross over with Supergirl like Flash did?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Like I said, I would love to do that. The comic book photo of them running together is amazing, and Melissa, I hear, is one of the sweetest people, so I would love to do that. You should let them know.
And it's Halloween this weekend.
Yeah.
If you could do a Halloween costume with any of your fellow castmates, or we'll allow you the Arrow universe and Supergirl universe as well, who would it be and why?
I don't think it's ever been done in any of these shows, but I was going to dress up as Poison Ivy. I had my costume, I had Ivy, I had a dress, I had all the stuff, but then I was told that you guys don't really celebrate Halloween here. Is that true?
You kind of do. I mean, you could have worn it as cosplay and no
I
one
could have
would
done
had to
it. I
deny
should have done it next year. But I may or may not wear a little something Halloween-y-ish on Sunday.
Oh, so there we are. There is a panel with Violett on Sunday, so pop along and also pop along at the table and here. But in the meantime, give a massive round of applause, London, for brilliant Violett Beane.
Thank you guys so much.